feeling out of control. Feeling out, feeling out, feeling out of control. Feeling out, feeling out, feeling out of control. Sweat colors flooded down my skin like I'm in a sauna. Couldn't either mix alcohol with marijuana or any other things I might have ingested. Might have been a little something I don't usually mess with. Charged up into the floor, eyes are crystallized. Something's happened, got me high and feeling hypnotized. I'm losing my mind, but there is no complaining. And now reality looking like a Picasso painting. But then yo, it's looking like a starry night. Whatever this inside me, got the body right. I'm swaying left and right. I think I'm levitating. All the energy around me is steady penetrating. Into my body, the heart can't keep my standing. Don't gotta go, I hope I can handle the landing. In the zone with my body and soul. Better have a seat, I'm feeling out of control. Feeling out, feeling out, 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 feeling out of control. Well, I took a shot, then it turned to 12. Then I took 2 more right after I fell. Now bouncing around like a game of pinball. Can't stand for this shit, no symbol. Showing these girls my Jimmy Kimball. Late night shit down here in limbo. Now I'm in the crowd just thinking about trust going in right. Yeah, I wanna get down. Excuse that mess that I left on your crescent. See your clip was looking at your breast. Sex on my mind like Snoop Dogg. Money can ignore that ass. That is too hard for me. Need recharge. Rap a recharge, a cigar. Only thing stopping me from going full retard. These are the times that I'm told to go. And like I'm sorry, boss, but you out of control. Feeling out, feeling out, feeling out of control.
All right, guys. Hello, 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 hello. I hope all of you guys are out here having a beautiful day right now. I know it's been a little bit of a rougher day for me, but I'm here. I'm ready to start the show. Of course, you guys know who I am, your hostess with the Samostess, Simone Allison. And this is, of course, another episode of Tales Behind the Creative. We're here tonight with episode number 14. So this show is going to be a little bit different than the last ones that you guys have seen. Tonight, I have my guest, Andy. He is a photographer that's out in Slippery Rock right now. And he does a lot of work with different my goodness, someone's ripped out my nose ring, guys. So he does a lot of different work in abandoned buildings. So we're going to keep his identity concealed, not to expose anything and not to get him in trouble as well. So it's a little bit illegal to kind of go out and take certain pictures at certain places. So I don't want to have anything with the law getting him all caught up. So you guys will be able to enjoy this slideshow that you already see on the screen right now. My picture is going to be a little bit smaller than usual, but that's all right. I feel like the art is going to be a little bit more prominent than anything else right now, and that's what we need to take a view at. So, of course, we are on live, so if you guys have any questions, any shout outs, please let me know. If at any time you guys see a picture that goes through on the slideshow that you would want to see stopped, I can let him know and he'll pause the slideshow for us, and then we can do a little bit more explanation of whatever picture you guys want to see more of. So just make sure that you guys are keeping in touch with me. I'll make sure to keep my phone here in front of my face to make sure everything is good to go. I'm kind of blinded by the light right now, so hopefully my vision doesn't keep going in and out as it already is. But I'm going to go ahead, turn his microphone on, and we'll get the party started, guys. So let me get him going. Hello, hello, hello. Are you there, darling?
Hello, Simone. How are you doing today?
I'm good, hon. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Well, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule, because I know you still have work going on with yourself. So thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. You do a lot of awesome work here in the photography community. So I'm glad that you were able to bless us with your talents for a minute.
Absolutely. I'm glad you wanted me as part of this.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's always good to have a different type of creative. I've been dealing with a lot of musicians lately, and like I already said, I'm very admired by the photos you take, and hopefully one day we can collab and you can take photos of me on my butt here in the summer.
Absolutely. That'd be fun.
It's all over with. That is. Okay, so kind of to get the party started here, why don't you go ahead and tell the people about yourself in general, who you are, where you come from, your hobbies, creative, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so my name's Andy. I went to college at Slippery Rock and I studied art there and communication graphic design. That kind of led me into using my camera a lot more, which in turn made me want to explore more, find more things to take pictures of. And as you can see, it kind of brought me down this crazy path of, destruction and demise and abandoned buildings and whatever else that entails. But it was kind of a fun ride getting here, I took photos of everything between, disc golfers and Slippery Rock students to right now working at a brewery, taking pictures of beer, food from the restaurants, stuff like that. It's just always fun to have my camera in my hands.
Right. So kind of where did you get the interest to do photography? Did you study it when you were at Slippery Rock, or how did that come?
Well, I got my first camera when I was like maybe 15. I did a lot of like, rollerblading, all that kind of stuff, skateboarding with my friends. And it kind of just turned from me taking photos of them to me taking photos of, anything else that I could really do it with. But that was a big help for me to learn different settings on cameras, the correct way to shoot a photo, the correct composition, things like that. Just brought me into this, architecture world that I didn't even know I'd care about until I really dove headfirst into it.
Okay.
But yeah, Slippery Rock definitely was a big help for me. I wouldn't necessarily like say that I learned like a ton of knowledge there that set me up for the world or anything, but it was a lot of great people. Like I met you there, so that was awesome. You know, met a ton of great people, got to learn some new things, try out different styles that I wouldn't normally approach. So it's kind of different to put myself in the perspective of like, a college kid to where I am now.
Right. Okay, I can dig it. I can dig it. So, kind of, what camera equipment do you use now for the people? Because I'm
Um,
not really educated in cameras that much. I really don't know
yeah.
much about them. But like, what do you use now? And kind of, how has your evolution with cameras been like in your career?
The first LR that I got was a Canon T2i. I got that about 11 years ago. I ended up just selling that, and I just picked up a Canon 80D. I primarily shoot with a 10 to 18 wide angle in the abandoned buildings. Um, I have a fixed 40 millimeter prime lens that makes some really cool depth of field shots, and then I have a just a stock kit lens that came with the camera that I don't necessarily play with as much, but it's still in my bag. It still gets brought out every once in a while.
Okay, nice, nice. So do you use like any lighting, any extras besides just your camera, or you just kind of go with the flow?
Um, I mean, I have an external flash. Uh, Primarily, I don't like to use it that much. I'm more of if I need to, if it's like a pitch black area, I'll pull a light out, a tripod. I'll do long exposures. Um, Try to take my time with it so it's not, it doesn't look rushed or fake. I like to make it look as real as it is as I'm seeing it. You know what I mean?
Right, right, and that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I'm just I feel like I'm gonna lose track throughout this whole interview because I just keep staring at all these pictures. They're so cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So kind of where did you even draw the inspiration to start taking photos of abandoned buildings? Because I know people that are involved in photography, they usually focus on, captivating subjects, whereas you're more focused on, the atmosphere and like the nature of everything. So kind of, why
Um,
did you take it this route?
Yeah, you see a lot of the portrait photos and the wedding photographers, and I tried to do that route, and it just wasn't for me. I don't want to make you stand there and smile. All right, turn this way. That's
Right,
just not who I am as a person. I like to be able to go into a situation and take it in for what it is. So there's no altering. Every once in a while, we might move something around, but I really got into this through friends. I had a buddy who he was living in Baltimore at the time, and he sent me some really great pictures. And Baltimore's a little bit different than Pittsburgh. It's a little bit more rundown in some areas. You can still find that stuff in Pittsburgh, but that was kind of my inspiration. I ended up, started Googling different abandoned things, and you certainly find the easy ones like Centralia and stuff like that.
Right.
But it brought me down this path of wanting to find things that nobody's seen. I wanted to, bring a subject that no one has seen and no one will see.
Right. And that's, yeah, you definitely stand out from the crowd when it comes to photography, no doubt, because there's not many people that you get to see that are going out here, especially taking the risk that you do. I mean, how sketchy is it for you to go out to these abandoned buildings when you know that any moment you could potentially be caught?
I mean, I've definitely had some really close calls. I've had, homeless people like kind of barking down the tree, if you know what I'm saying. For example, this picture that's about to come up on here, I'll pause it for everyone so they can see it. But this is an abandoned football stadium that was in Akron. It's no longer there; it's demolished now. But we had a pretty hairy situation with a run-in with a couple police officers here. And obviously, all the way down to stepping on a nail. Tetanus. I've stepped on nails. Like,
you have your up-to-date tetanus shots.
Yeah, my tetanus shots are definitely up to date. But it could be anything. Asbestos, like the silent things that you don't see, the asbestos in the air could develop into worse things down the road.
Right.
So it's always good to be safe. Wear gloves, wear protective boots, respirator if needed. Things like that, just to keep track of yourself. Make sure your health is the most important thing, because it's not worth it to get hurt over a photo.
Right, exactly. As captivating as it is for your audience, it's definitely got to be a little bit challenging for you yourself actually going out there and getting it. But you do it for the people.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it started as something that I really loved for myself, and I didn't want to, share my work. But as soon as you show someone this and the face that they make, like their eyes light up like they've never seen anything like it, it kind of makes you want to, keep showing people, like, all right, check out this, look at what I did this weekend. Look at this. Like,
Right.
So, I mean, and I've seen everything from churches to, abandoned observatories, you name it. It's either been, I've found one or I've been to one. And it's one of those, like, it keeps you going. You always want to find something new.
Right. So kind of expanding on the places that you've went, like how far have you gone to go out to take a picture? Like where are some of the coolest places that you've shot?
I mean, Baltimore was really fun. Philadelphia is always really fun. I mean, even just Pittsburgh, it's only, 50 minutes south, but I have a lot of friends down there, so it's always a good time to meet up with them and see what we can find. The farthest I've gone would probably be like New Jersey, New York City. That was about 6 hours.
Right.
But mostly I stick around Pennsylvania, Ohio, New York, Maryland, Virginia, that kind of area. Slowly branching out. I wanna check out Chicago, Detroit, all that kind of stuff, but
Right.
haven't been able to with our current pandemic situation, unfortunately.
Trapping us inside like no one's business. Goddamn.
Yep.
I swear to God, I don't have the Rona. I've been coughing up a storm. Just need to stop smoking.
No worries. You're far enough away from me. I don't think I'll catch it if you have it.
Fingers crossed. If things could be transmitted to the computer, we'd all be fudged. So, oh my goodness, again, I'm lost in the sauce in these pictures. So I'm like, all right. So collaborations. What other artists have you worked with when you're out here taking photos?
A lot of people, it's very quiet, like hush hush community. Not too many people do this kind of stuff where they go forward and say, hey, I'm doing this or I'm doing that. So it's mostly, I've met a lot of friends that are very, very much like me, where they like to do this stuff, keep it hush. So it's nice to connect with those kind of folk. Collaborating wise, I hang out with a fellow from Newcastle, Pennsylvania. His name's Ethan. I won't use his last name or anything, but he's a great guy. We've been out a couple times, and as far as Philadelphia and those kind of places, if I give someone a text or a call and say, hey, let's do something this weekend, it's like open arms. So it's a great community, great people. I mean, every once in a while you have your jerks here and there, but
right.
For the most part, it's a great community of people where you can just about find anybody that's willing to do it with you. So.
Right. Well, it's really, really cool. I'm glad you at least we're able to find, the people that are within your niche and thrive all together. Because like they keep saying, we're all stronger together out here.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing that you want to do in numbers as well. I don't really like to go into these places solo.
Right.
Uh, it's definitely a lot safer with another person. And then you also have, the buddy system. It's like, okay, I'm going into this room. If you don't see me in 5 minutes, I've fallen through the floor, I've stepped on something, you know what I mean?
God,
Something.
right.
It's nice to have someone watching your back while you can watch theirs.
Have you ever had like any injuries, like falling through a floor or anything like that?
I haven't fallen through any floors, knock on wood, or anything like that, fortunately. Just, a couple twisted ankles, nails. I climbed up a elevator shaft one time, and going back down that, I came down and hit my ankle pretty good one time. So
Oh,
that was an interesting one, trying to walk out of there with a messed up ankle. But
well, you're still here. You're still living. You're thriving. So
yep,
hallelujah. I'm glad you're still.
thank you.
So, do you like just do this for fun? Do you sell your work or?
It started out as just a thing to do for fun, on the weekends, travel and just kind of check out new things. But when people started approaching me about buying photos, it kind of took off pretty quickly. I sell them personally, so I don't have a website or anything just yet. But I'm very responsive on Facebook, Instagram, that kind of stuff. So if someone reaches out and they want something specific, it's pretty easy for me to get it printed and get it to their door within a couple weeks. Right now, unfortunately, most of the photo labs are closed down, so I'm
Right,
unable to get stuff printed unless I do it myself, and that's kind of more hassle than I want to go through at this moment. But
right.
I have like a nice little binder of 8x10s that I bring around with me in my car, and if someone's like, "Oh, I want to print," I can pull it out and they can pick something from it. So
Well, nice. Well, I'm glad it kind of took off for you because I know I definitely seen a couple pictures myself that I wanted to purchase through your postings on Facebook. So you definitely need to pull up on us with a website because I could feel like you would just make it.
yeah, I know.
Get your ass a freaking cartel website or
All this,
Pinterest.
all this Yeah, with all this downtime, that's definitely my next move. It's
Right,
just, it's tough because I do a little bit of our website stuff at my job, so I definitely don't ever want to take it home with me. And it's like,
right,
I know it's for myself, but it's like, I got to do this again. But I'm
exactly.
definitely working on that soon, so I'll keep you updated on that.
Good, you better post them in the area reader articles so people can support you as the creative that you are. Because I know it's gotta. Is it like expensive for you to kind of be in this art? I mean, you already have
Uh,
your camera, but
y- yeah, it's not cheap. I mean, if you want to travel and stuff,
right,
it's always got its added expenses, but I work on ways to limit those expenses, like, instead of a hotel, Airbnb, and splitting that with people, or, like the camera equipment's its own down payment. I bought that and paid it off in 2 years. So it was small cents on a dime when you look at it over time. But the traveling definitely can get caught up to you. Like I try to limit myself to once every 2 months, or I would be absolutely flat broke.
right. Well, at least you, at least the funds are working for you for the most part, and at least you have enough places that are close to you that you can still go to.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Works
And
out.
it's always it's this kind of stuff. It just hides in plain sight. You probably drive by stuff like this every day and have no idea. You just got to go behind the door and see what's there.
Right, exactly. I mean, even like the last time when you were in Erie visiting, and I remember me and you were going to the Rook, and then you had parked your car, and you're like, "Yeah, there's this really cool abandoned house over here, and I want to shoot there." And I'm like, I haven't
Isn't
even
that
noticed
school?
that house, and like it was abandoned. So you definitely have a keen eye for places like that, which is definitely really eclectic field. So
And that's another thing too. Like people don't. It's really easy to do this stuff, but it's really easy to get hurt or get in trouble or
right,
get yourself caught up in it. So it's one of those things where you gotta like take it with time. You know, if you find something, do your research on it. If you can find out anything else that'll help you down the road, it's it's very simple to do. It's just drive around and look for stuff. That's basically what I've done for the last 5 years.
right. Well, I'm glad you're gonna keep killing it. So you were talking about your other job. So like, where do you work and where do you take the pictures of?
So I work at North Country Brewing Company in Slippery Rock. They're a regional brewery with
Okay.
a great local clientele there. A bunch of craft beer drinkers and college kids. So
Okay, nice.
nice nice area that we can sell our beer at. But I'm their director of marketing and media, so I do their graphic design, their social media, photography, can labels. You name it. If it's artwork, it's probably on my desk.
Okay, nice. And how long have you been working there?
I've been there for going on 4 years this year.
Oh, okay. So you definitely have your stamp. You put your footprint in
Yeah. I'd like to think that. I don't know yet.
there. Well, I mean, if they kept you for 4 years, you must be doing something right at this point.
That's what I'd like to think, but
And do you have to travel with that, or?
yeah, I mean we've done some pretty cool stuff with that. For example, our production manager was head of Brutal Beer Fest last year, which was a beer festival surrounded around heavy metal music. So we got to collaborate with one of the bands and make a beer with one of the bands, and they filmed a music video in the brewery, and it was really cool. I personally like metal music, so it
Yeah,
was kind of like, all right, double dipping in two of the things that I like.
right, right. Well, that's pretty heady. Definitely get some cool experiences out of the job. Shoot, I mean, like your whole life is like super cool. You get to go out here and take all these pictures of abandoned buildings, and then you get to go take pictures of beer. You get to participate in beer drinking.
I swear it's not as fun as it sounds. It's not all just standing around drinking, but I mean, there's still work involved, but it's definitely, it's a lot better than most jobs I could probably find myself in right now.
Right, amen. And especially because you still have a job right now. So
Yep. I'm very fortunate.
I can't wait to get back to work. Hopefully this whole ban is lifted sooner than we know.
Well, that's the plan. We'll see. We got all keep hunkered down for a little bit longer, it seems like. But
Yeah, seriously. I mean, and speaking of, so this whole pandemic's going on. Kind of what is your take with the whole COVID-19 thing that's going
I mean, day to day, it really hasn't affected me as much as I've seen it affect a lot of people. Like I said, it's you know, fortunate that I'm able to go into work and still able to do my job from home if I needed to. But, beer it's an on-premise thing. You can't brew beer in your house for, you know,
right,
60 barrels or, 100 kegs or whatever. You can't really do that in your house. So it's unfortunate for people that aren't able to work, even though there's still beer to be, bought and sold. And it's just, it, I personally, like I said, haven't seen anything too drastic other than, the craziness at the stores and the masks and all that stuff. But it really hasn't pressured me to do anything too differently in my day-to-day life.
right. Well, that's good because I know a lot of people are dealing, with the trials and tribulations of not working and not being able to, find a drive to do certain things. So that's good that you're really staying positive and busy. So hallelujah to you.
And it's given me time to catch up on photos and editing and stuff like that. But other than that, I mean, I've been trying to explore some new hobbies, been drawing a lot more, doing things that I, can do from out without leaving my house.
Right, right. Is that about all that you do, drawing and photography, or do you do like video games or anything else fun?
Yeah, I play a little bit of video games. Nothing crazy. I've been doing a lot of like music mixing, so like just making songs on GarageBand, just anything to really pass the time but also be productive. So that's the really big thing for me right now is not getting into this stale like don't want to do anything,
Right,
sleep all day. It seems like that's the route everyone's trying to head towards, and I just can't
right,
do that. I go way too much to stop.
right. Amen. You got to keep going in these times for sure, or else you're just gonna get yourself caught up in the bottle at the end of the day, and nobody needs that.
Exactly.
So, kind of speaking of things that have been good and bad, kind of what is one of the best things that you've taken from this pandemic, and one of the worst things?
Um, let's start with the bad first. I mean,
Yeah.
the worst thing is like I have family that's 2.5 hours away, and a very elderly grandmother that lives with my mother. So for me, not being able to go home like as much as I want to, or nearly as often as I want to, and see them is kind of unfortunate. Like my mom drove down here to Slippery Rock not too long ago, so it was nice to see her. But she didn't bring my grandmother, and I'm lucky if I get to see her once or twice a year, so it's kind of sticky to not be able to do it,
Right, right.
or know when I'll be able to do it again.
Exactly.
Best thing though, I like I said, I've been able to catch up on so many photos. I think right now on my Adobe Lightroom, I have 9,000 photos. I've gotten through like 6,000 of them, maybe. So
Gosh.
it's a small chunk out of a big pot, but
Seriously though, I can't even fathom that. Like 9,000 photos. You're busy,
yeah, and
boy.
I'm a very I like everything to be perfect, so
Yeah.
I might take the same picture like 40 times and then only use one of those. So that's how I am.
I feel that completely. Like the same thing kind of goes with me in my journalism career. I'm so particular about certain sentences and transition words and stuff like that. I have to make sure everything is like perfect. I'm very nitpicky, so I can only imagine when it comes to photo editing. Because I mean, even me, like when I'm taking like a Snapchat photo or something, I'm like, all right, is this prime? Am I gonna get enough viewers from this? So
I mean, like even just this little, I don't know if you can see it on my screen right now. I'm circling it, but this little blue bag underneath this chair.
yeah.
Like just looking at this right now, I'm like, all right, that needs to go. I gotta get that out of there. So
Oh,
it's
but it looks
little
cool.
things. It's just little things like that where in my head I'm like, I gotta get rid of that,
Yeah.
But and it's always fun when like one of my good friends, John, shout out if you're watching. Hi, John. He actually just picked up a 20 by 30 of one of the abandoned trains. I can pull it up here, and it was a big piece. It was the biggest thing I've ever sold. So to actually see it fully, on a wall, framed, full size, it was just kind of like, oh wow, like awe-inspiring. I was like, I need to do more of these right now.
Yeah. Amen. It's definitely cool when you get to see your product in like a friend or fans like living room or stuff like that. Like it definitely makes you have so much appreciation for yourself as a creative. So hey, kill it, baby.
Thank you. It's I've slowly been working on a little gallery of all my friends' photos in my office. So I have a couple photos from each of my friends hanging up, and it's always cool to see like their take on certain places if they go there. So like for example, this train spot, I know a bunch of people who've been here, and it's always nice to see how other people look at the same exact thing that you're looking at. So
Right.
I always get photos of places that I've been, things that I've already seen, just to kind of accentuate the experience for me.
Exactly. I mean, like you're saying, it's all about perspective. Everyone's gonna see things in a different light, and everyone's gonna capture it in a different way. So it's incredible. I don't know.
Thank you.
I'm lost in the sauce yet again. But so the school though, because I remember I was talking to you about you coming here and was that Roosevelt or is that a different school?
I think it's Roosevelt.
Okay, so you ended up going there. How was that?
I haven't been there yet.
Oh,
Yeah, I did my research and it said there's a bunch of asbestos removal going on, and when
okay.
they're stirring up asbestos, that's not the best place to be in.
Right, amen.
I'll hold off for a little bit and see what happens. I might try to look at it the legal way and see if I can't get a hold of the company who's working on it and
Okay.
go that route. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, it's not all illegal. I like don't think I'm this giant criminal or anything. I do the legal route if I can, but sometimes there's just no legal way to do it.
Exactly, exactly. I was just about to say, like, do you ever have to get in contact with certain, owners of the places you go to or companies such as
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few that there was a bank in Pittsburgh that I went to not too long ago that you kind of have to like know somebody, and we got a security guard's number to the building, and we bribed him with $20 and
Oh wow, it's a cheap date.
yeah, he turned all the lights on for us, let us around, showed us the whole building, gave us a big tour of it. So it
Okay.
was pretty.
Well, that's cool. I guess this is one of those things where it's really good to know people and be able to network so that you can, get the in.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have a very small circle. I don't, I'm not trying to tell everybody and their sister that I'm doing this.
Well, then
but the
yeah,
people,
everyone's gonna pull up on there, and then that's not unique anymore. And it's like
yep,
everyone's doing that. What the hell?
things get destroyed and it gets ruined for everybody. So,
Right.
but the people that I do hang around with are very good. You know, people just like me and you. You just wouldn't know that they're doing this kind of stuff on their weekends and in their free time. So.
Right. Exactly. Next time, hopefully, I can come with you to one of these school joints for sure.
Absolutely.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to explore. I'm trying to bring out the Adventure Time vibes. So, have you come up with like
Yeah.
new inspirations, techniques, or projects while you've been stuck in the house?
I mean, technique wise, I've really explored the wider architectural. You can see it in almost every one of my photos. Looking up at the ceiling, the bottom of the screen is the floor. I really like to explore that route. You get to see, especially in churches, it's kind of the point of a church is to look up, and you really get that in a lot of my that's my technique, at least my hope, that I approach it in a way that you really forces you to look up, whether you know it or not. Um, but other than that, I've really done a lot more long exposures recently. That was something I never did a lot of. If it was dark out, I basically just said like, I can't shoot. But I've explored that a little bit more and been able to do some long exposures, some tripod shots, things like that.
Right. Well, nice. I mean, it's all about capturing the angles, essentially.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm a big
and
person at my own
it,
photos.
it's something that, like we were talking about before, it's something that not everybody will ever get to see. So just to be able to show somebody like, okay, this is this in New Jersey, or this is that in Baltimore, and it's like they were never going to go there to see it anyways, but now they actually have a good idea of what they could see there.
Exactly. I love this picture you have up right now because I just seen the ceiling part of it. Toilet seats? What the hell? What is
Yeah.
that?
This is a really weird one. This kid in the picture actually is my buddy from Baltimore. His name's Josh. He's a really good guy. But he invited me over to Baltimore for the weekend, and we ended up in 4 different states on Saturday. We went to New Jersey, Maryland, Virginia, and Pennsylvania all in one day before noon. And
What?
this is the first spot that he took me to. This is an abandoned hotel in New Jersey. This is the pool area.
Right.
So the bottom there where that graffiti is like a 5 or 4 foot drop or something
Right.
with just a bunch of.
Oh no, your audio went out. Fix it. Fix it.
All right, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now. Okay,
All right,
resume.
sorry about that.
You're good.
But yeah, it's I don't know if there's any rhyme or reason to why those are there, but
Yeah,
that was the interesting thing in this building. So we went to go take some photos of it, and this is the result.
right. And that's gonna be cool too. I mean, not only do you get to, express your art, but you get to capture other people's arts, like graffiti artists and
Hmm.
things like that. And that's gonna be like you probably see so many cool different graffiti drawings, I can imagine.
Yeah. I've had the pleasure of meeting a few of these guys, and they're just like everyone else. They're very normal human beings, but on their weekends they like to go to abandoned buildings and put their name up on it with paint. So
Right.
it's a different breed of people for sure. You get they're just as normal as me or you. You get interested in something and it takes off, and next thing you know, you're in a hotel in New Jersey that has toilet seats hanging from the pool. So that's just that's what happens. You
Oh
end up down a road that you can't go back. It's a downhill.
I'm fucking in love. That is great. I really wonder who was the one behind putting the toilet seats up there. Like,
Yeah, someone. I mean, it's not. You can see the person there for scale. It's not like that's a short climb or anything. That's a good
exactly. And like,
15
there's
feet
a whole
up.
pool underneath it too. So
Yeah, yeah.
someone just climbing up on the freaking ceiling bars is like, yep, we're gonna put some toilet seats up here.
Hey, I'm glad they did it because it gave me an opportunity like this one.
Exactly. Definitely a cool picture by far. This is definitely one that I would want. I would put this in my bathroom. Like
It's a good
right above the
bathroom.
toilet. I mean, it only makes sense. I'm like, did you see the toilet seats above the toilet seat?
Put them above your bathtub.
So scenic. Oh my god, I love it. So, as a creator, kind of what is your goal to uplift the people around you, whether that be in your personal life or your creative life?
Uh, I mean, for me, it's always fun to give people something that they enjoy looking at.
Yeah.
I've shot plenty of photos that I could care less about, but someone that means something to me cares a ton about. Like my mom thinks that I don't have the photo on the slideshow, but there's a certain photo that my mom really likes, and I gave it to her for Christmas. But it's like for me, I was like, I do not like this photo at all. Please don't hang this up.
Right, right,
It's, but at the same time, it's like it feels really good that even my worst work, is appreciated. So that's uplifting in my own personal value.
right,
But to be able to like give people something that makes them happy, whether it be a print hung up on their wall or even just sliding through Facebook and you see a picture that you think is cool and you take the second to stop and look at it, that's enough for me to, if I'm helping out other people, giving them something interesting to look at that isn't, oh, COVID-19 took another life or, oh, this, that, or the other,
right. Exactly.
bad news, bad news, bad news. This is something that isn't, it's neutral. It's take it for what it is.
Right. Exactly. I agree with that wholeheartedly for sure. Just like I'm able to do this and kind of give people a moment of, peace of mind to not sit here and, like you said, worry about who's dying and how much longer we're going to be stuck in the house, but
Mm-hmm.
just kind of make the time pass in a way that is positive instead of negative because we have way too much of it going on right now. It's
Exactly, exactly.
not.
And for me, it's nice that, these kind of places, being in these situations and taking these photos is almost like tranquil for me. It's not, of course it's high pace, it's high anxiety, but for me, it's like, okay, this is where you shine. You take your photos, you're going to turn around and you're going to do all right. And it's going to be fine.
Right.
So that's what's going through my head. Take the right photo, not, oh, am I going to get hurt? Am I going to get arrested? Am I going to, you know,
Right.
it's
Exactly.
kind of a peace of mind for me to be able to do this stuff.
Right. Well, good. I'm glad you can at least have, a bit of an escape and a release for your own sanity during this
Oh
time.
yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
it's not even helping people, so it works out. It's a good parent share. So once
For
this whole
sure.
pandemic is over, kind of, do you have any crazy plans? Like, what is your goal once this is up and done with?
Oh, I need to travel. I need to go somewhere new and see a new city, see new things, see new people. Just
Yeah.
I need to go and be gone. And obviously, I'm sure I'm one of many people out there that have already bought concert tickets for the summer and aren't sure if they're going to go or not.
Right. Right.
So, kind of hoping everything clears up because I have a concert in Wisconsin and Chicago's on the way to Wisconsin, and I want to go to Chicago. So it's like just it's messing everything up, but.
Exactly.
I want to, yeah, I definitely want to do a lot of traveling when all this is over. Just kind of
Listen.
get away and drive a couple hours and forget about everything. So
Seriously, take me with you. I can fit in the suitcase. I'm good to
just
go.
roll you up like a sleeping bag.
Yes, perfect. Wrap me up, put me underneath your arm, and let's whisk me away. So, kind of, when you're saying you go to bands, like, do you ever take your camera with you when you go to like band shows or kind of stuff like that and take pictures, or just kind
Not,
of stick
not so
to?
much, not so much concerts unless it's something that I'm doing for a friend or something like that. I really like to just be in the moment at those kind of things. Like just it's a lot like this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I find myself a lot of times in abandoned buildings, like just looking around and not even being able to take a photo. And
right,
that's true for me in concerts or in a new city or whatever. I like to take it all in before I start, you know, firing away and not really paying attention to what's going on.
right, right. I mean, yeah, because I mean, a lot of people do get caught up, in their phone instead of just enjoying the moment for what it is. I mean, I do that too. I can definitely call myself out for that.
Oh, I'm sure everybody's guilty of
Right?
taking a cell phone pic or two at a concert, but
Yeah,
if I
exactly.
had my camera in front of my face the whole time, I wouldn't even know what's happening around me. So
Exactly. So, and I mean, I guess it definitely fits your brand as well that, you kind of stick to the abandoned buildings and whatnot. if you end up doing too much, then people will get overwhelmed by, everything that you lay out. So it's good to kind of keep your certain type of niche and brand it that way. So I can feel
Yeah,
it.
and I think that's another thing. I share pictures of McConnell's Mills and nature, and I obviously use my camera in way more than just abandoned things.
Right.
But this is what I personally like the most, and this is what I want people to, if they think, okay, what does he take pictures of? I don't want it to be portraits. I don't want it to be, this or that. I want it to be trains, churches, schools, abandoned things. So I found a style that I really enjoy, and that's something that as an artist is like, if you find something you like and you're appreciative of what you're doing, I say run with it and do it to the best of your ability, beat it until it's dead.
Right. Now, I was kind of like peeping on when you keep going back. I keep forgetting about like the editing process of everything. Like, how extensive is it for you to do your edits? I know you were talking about how you're nitpicky and whatnot, but kind of what is maybe like one of the longest times that you've taken to edit a photo opposed to one of the shortest times?
I mean, I use Lightroom. I have it up right now so everybody can kind of see the process here. Um, for example, if I just take a raw photo without editing it, I could probably do it in 45 seconds to a minute,
So that's
So
dope.
like this photo, not edited. You can come over here. I'll bump up my contrast. I'll bump up clarity. I'll bump up the scenery. And then I'll just start playing with my exposure bars until I get what I want. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Oh, that one's so cool. I love that. It's so creepy, but super, super interesting.
It's got a dirty needle in its hand.
Did you set that up?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
me and my buddy set this up.
Okay. That is super cool. Yeah, I really suck at doing any type of editing. I know when I was in school, I've had to do editing of like different videos that I've had to do for projects when I was in the studio. And oh my gosh, like I just have no patience whatsoever to sit there and try and put things together. So you're incredible. Oh, these are also cool. What the
Thank you.
hell? You should put all these in the.
Yeah, this is that bank in Pittsburgh that I was telling you about.
Okay, yes. Holy cow.
So it's pretty wild.
That is. That reminds me of the skunk and goat that's out here in Northeast, because it
Oh
used to
yeah,
be
I
on
know.
the
Yeah,
thing.
we have our beer out there.
Okay, no way. Yeah, they have like the one party room that they have in there. It's basically it used to be the old vault where they kept all the money at. So you can go in there and you can like close the vault door and it's super
Oh,
neat.
okay. Yeah, that's real cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take you there. We'll go on a cute date and I'll show you and we can take some pictures. We'll do
Yeah,
it up.
yeah, for sure. That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah. Oh my God, is that like a dentist office or something?
Yeah, so this is actually in the same room as that bank. It's upstairs.
No way.
And there's three chairs. So this is the chair that you just saw back there.
Okay.
This is the front chair. And then there is one more chair in that room somewhere.
Somewhere. There's so many to go through. I mean, we got 9,000 pictures.
Yeah, I only have 6,000 on here right now, but
Okay.
those are the ones that I'm working with.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I've been, I try to travel as much as I can. So
Right.
every chance, even if I'm not traveling for abandoned things, if I'm traveling, for family or work or whatever, I'll keep it in the back of my mind. Like, okay, keep an eye out, or whatever.
Right. Nice. I can dig it. You definitely got a lot of variety for yourself, indeed. So definitely keep the people guessing and awaiting more.
Absolutely.
So before I let you go, do you have like any words of advice or wisdom for people that are kind of down and out, or just in general that are dealing with everything that's going on during this quarantine pandemic?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not like the best motivational speaker or anything, but
That's right.
it's one of those things that we need to, keep doing what we're doing, keep our heads up, stay healthy, stay safe, and above all, if you find something, work on your hobbies. If you can't find
Right.
something to do, find a hobby. Now's the perfect time to learn something new. and be able to run with it. You got enough time right now where you can
Amen.
practice it, become a beginner, and who knows?
I know, you never know what you could come up with during a time like this. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
you
I mean,
go
if you
out
would
there
have
and
asked me
take your
5 years
pictures.
ago, or when we were in college together, if you would have asked me what I'd be taking pictures of now, I certainly wouldn't have said this. So
Right.
it's all about finding what you like and really running with it.
Yeah, seriously. Like, I always just knew you as like the skateboarder, just riding around campus, going to parties with and whatnot. Like, definitely never expected this out of you, but God, you have been killing it ever since you started. So
Thank
just
you.
keep
Thank
it
you.
up for sure, because I just want to see more and more and more.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Welcome. So, I don't know if I'm allowed to like post you in it, like tag you in anything. Like, is there a way for people to find you? I know you don't have a website.
Yeah, you can tag me on Facebook.
Okay.
My Instagram's at Andy the Grimiest,
Okay.
ANDYTHEGRIMIEST.
Okay.
And like I said, I'm pretty responsive on there. So if you see something on there that you really want or you really like, we'll try to get it squared away for you.
Yeah. Nice. Well, cool. Well, I really, again, appreciate you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule during all your work situations and coming on the show and, giving us a little bit more of the perspective of the behind the scenes of your creative. Because,
Oh,
like
not a
I said,
problem. Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
yeah, of course, anytime. The more that I can learn about people, especially, something different from the music scene and whatnot, it's cool. And definitely, especially as a photographer, instead of doing the typical portraits of people or places, like I love that you take that extra risk to go out there and give us a perspective on things that, we usually don't think about or have the time to go and involve ourselves in because it can be sketchy, but we love that you take the risk for us. Appreciate it.
Hey, you can live vicariously through me anytime.
Oh, I definitely will. No doubt about it. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Thanks again. Have a good night.
Absolutely.
Safe.
Thank you again. Have a good one. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah. And yeah, we'll definitely be talking soon and we'll definitely reconvene once we're all allowed to finally come back together and get out of our houses and travel through over state lines and whatever else. So
Sounds like a plan. I'll talk to you soon then, Simone.
all right, sounds good, honey. Have a good night. I'll talk to you. Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. So that was, again, of course, another episode of Tales Behind the Creative. I hope you guys had a good perspective and viewing of my friend Andy's artwork. His photography is so cool. It's definitely a different aspect of photography, considering that he really does go above and beyond and taking that risk to go to places where we're not technically allowed to go, and especially with the safety concerns and all that as well. It's amazing what the products that he comes up with, and giving us all the opportunity to take a different look at the world that's around us, especially with what's going on right now. It's kind of cool to see the like the decrumbling of things and stuff like that. It's definitely a different take for the photography realm. So I'm glad I was able to have him on and dig into his mind a little bit more on why and how he is able to capture these type of photos. So I thank you all so much for tuning in, per usual. Switched up the venue here a little bit, but still got my tie-dye on. And of course I had to wear the Polaroid because, take a picture, it lasts longer. So I love you guys all so, so much. Let me check my calendar here to make sure I know who's coming up tomorrow for you guys, because of course we'll be back at 8 o'clock. I actually have Mean Joe Photos who's going to be on. So he is a local photographer as well. So I didn't even realize I have two photographers back to back. That's pretty neat. So Mean Joe Photos, I know he does a lot of local photography with bands, and he does a lot of nature pictures as well. And I obviously with working with bands, so he's got portrait shots and stuff like that. So should be another interesting take, and especially a different perception on the photography realm. So hopefully I will see you guys tomorrow at 8 o'clock on the dot. And of course, to spread the love for my brand, you can, of course, pull up on Tales Behind the Creative, my Facebook page. Give that a like, give it a share. The more love, the better. That way we can keep expanding this audience and keep expanding the attention to all of these very well-deserved creatives that we have here in the community, as well as near and far. Um, Also, you can go ahead and support my GoFundMe. It's going to be, again, Tales Behind the Creative, so you can look it up via that way. I also have a lot of links on my Facebook page, whether it be my personal account that you guys are viewing right now, or through my Tales Behind the Creative page. So go ahead and pull up on there. Also, I was talking about starting my weekly daily conversations with myself, just to talk about current topics, and then for you guys to have the opportunity to do live Q&As. So I'm going to start doing that platform here very shortly via my Patreon page. So you guys will find a link to that on my Tales Behind the Creative Facebook page as well. So please subscribe. That way I can go ahead and start doing the content for all of you guys. And other than that, you guys can find everything on all my articles on the Erie Readers website. Love working with them. I never really get the opportunity to give them a shout out. So shout out to the Erie Reader. I know our publications have stopped right now just because obviously there's really not much to write about, considering we do focus on a lot of the arts and culture here in the community, and with everything being canceled, it can be really tough to be able to put something out. So make sure you guys are pulling up on their website and finding out different articles that pertain to, you know, the pandemic that's going on, as well as all of the other arts and culture that are happening in the Erie community. So again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. with me and Joe Photos. Until then, you guys have a great night. Continue to stay safe. The countdown's ensuing, guys. We're almost done, and I know Kathy Dahlkemper was talking out here about ending this stuff early. Hopefully, we will be one of the first counties in Pennsylvania to get out of the house and get back to work. I know I can't wait. As much as I love doing the show, definitely want to get back to, you know, serving and axe throwing. Way serving to get them tips, because baby, I need that money, honey. And then back to throwing axes, because the stress is building up, and I definitely can't wait to go ahead and have at it. And teach everyone the ins and outs of how to throw an axe the right way. Hopefully I still got it when I go back. So like I said, thanks again for tuning in. Have a good night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 on Tales Behind the Creative. This is me signing off, your hostess with the mostest, Simone Allison. I love you all. Peace out.